We're live right now?
Yeah, I think it's recording.
Are we?
Some elbow room up in here.
Oh. Now it's live. But I think it recorded a few seconds of me getting up.
Yeah?
Yeah, we'll find out in a second. We'll see if I'm not in a scene. If I'm not in a scene, then, yep, I see it. It says you're live and we're doing it. It's. I know we're late. Everything's going wrong. But it's all right. We're here.
We are here.
How they got hacked.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, so, hey, awesome that all of you are here. How many people we got? Oh, we got 13 people. We didn't run them all off by waiting a week.
There you go.
So that's good. That's good. Sorry about all the delays. That happens.
It does.
What episode are we? Oh, 15.
15.
Woo.
Bye.
Technically, I know someone's going to point out this would have been 16, but, you know, I got kids, they get married, and next thing you know, I don't got time to do these hacking videos.
Right.
Yeah, we'll do it for 2 hours. We got beer. I got whiskey over there. I can go for a while. I've had a little caffeine today.
There you go.
We can back. Anyways, welcome to How They Got Hacked, episode 15. Tom Lawrence.
Xavier D. Johnson.
Maurice Nash.
All right. Now we've done the formalities and things like that. And one of the first things, in case you didn't notice, the thumbnail. And if you were wondering what that thumbnail is, I didn't even mention it to these guys. I didn't know if they had mentioned it. But did you see what's in the show notes for what this thumbnail is about?
I cannot say I did.
When do you think the first keylogger was around? That's what that's related to. This is some trivia here.
Sure.
So we'll switch over to the my screen here. The first keylogger was actually the IBM Select. The Russians figured out a way to figure out the keystrokes, and were modifying these so they could be by the embassy and log the things typed on an IBM Select type. So like 60s, 70s. So keylogging.
Oh wow! I had to go look.
You had to stare at it. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I thought this was kind of a cool, like the hacking's not new, the methodologies. Matter of fact, I've been to the Spy Museum in D.C. There's so much stuff. There's actually the History Channel, as much as they produce a lot of crap, you can find some of those documentaries on the Cold War spying techniques. And trust me, social engineering was at the top because there wasn't as much technology, so that was right at the top. A couple of the really successful old school hacks was one, the Xerox repairman. There was a Russian plant going in, and was it the Russians or us? I think it was us. We had one of our agents as the Xerox repairman, and no one seen it coming because no one had done it before. No one realized an attack vector would be grabbing things off the Xerox. So they had a camera, well, it was micro camera. So every time they copied every document at the Russian embassy, they got a picture of it. And when every time he'd come and service the machine, he'd swap out the film. And no one's seen it. This went on for years of infiltration, and no one knew about it.
There you go. That's the very best exfil that you can have.
And the
right
Russian
at the source.
Yes.
When everything is on paper at this time too.
Yep.
Right. So it's just like getting an email tap.
Yeah. Another one related to it was the Russians got us with a listening device that we couldn't detect with the detector. Clever idea. And it seems obvious now because, we have Qi chargers for our phone. You can charge things wirelessly, right? So we scan it for electromagnetic. It's this weird-looking piece of art. And we're like, I don't know. It seems ugly, but we'll hang it on the wall here.
Oh, the wooden plaque?
Yep.
Yeah.
And they would beam the electricity through the other side, a few walls over, beam electricity, and turn on the listening device because it had a receiver. So whenever they wanted to listen to a conversation, they'd turn it on by beaming the power to it. But it would pass any test because when they weren't beaming power, there's no electromagnetic interference.
Wow.
And how long did that
that was there for a while, too. That was there for a while, too.
A while.
Yeah.
I want to say around maybe 20, 30 years?
Yeah, it was a long... I think they stopped using it. And then someone figured out what it was. So there's all these cool things like that. So it makes me think a lot about it. Because those people make for very interesting retired NSA, retired FBI, CIA. They make for some interesting, when they write books and stuff like that, they're worth reading because they have a lot of insights because they spend so much time thinking about how people work and how that works. So it's kind of a really interesting topic to dive into. I forgot to turn my phone off.
No worries.
There we go. Stop making noise. So that's where that little history is, and I went in my usual, everything's clickable on the internet. Everything's hyperlinked, and next thing you know, I had all of it. I spent a deep dive reading about that for like 2 hours because, I don't know, it seemed like a great idea. It's the history of hacking. Not just the phone freaks and stuff like that. That was cool, too. There's a whole other history. Oh, speaking of history, the new Cult of the Dead Cow book is out.
Oh, yes.
I want to read that. That's
a must read now.
Yeah, that's a must read. Little trivia I learned right off the rip. The Jefferson Airplane, the band. So Jefferson Airplane actually cohabitated, lived in the same place as Grateful Dead, and they were all part of that counterculture movement. The lead drummer, Cult of the Dead Cow, and helped form the first hacker conferences as we know them.
Wow.
And it was based on the whole hippie counterculture type attitude, just brought over to technology. So there was all these influences, and they cover all this in a book. So that's going to be a fun deep dive read.
I can't wait to read that. Because I mean, you never really know who's a part of what and how influential they could be in multiple arenas. So.
Yeah, and the guy who put the book together, my understanding is he made sure he didn't dox anyone, because those are some members who aren't. They were people who wanted to come forward. Over the years, because it's been around for so long, some people were found out of who they were. But he seemed to do everything on the up and up based on what I've read. I know some people commented there's a couple of little things that were embellished in there, so I'm going to read the book, but I'll then counter that with...
It's a book.
It's a book. There's always going to be at least a few things that were slightly inaccurate. Whatever. At least I know.
How do you know it's embellished, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the question.
Oh, they actually. One of the hackers came forward. He did an interview. He says, no, I didn't live above a brothel. I think is how it started. They said that in the book. That wasn't actually true.
How do you know you didn't live above a brothel? You might have just been missing out.
Maybe he was too focused on the keyboard, and he did live above a brothel. There's a whole other story there. We are geeks, so.
So Robert in the chat room beat us to it. We do have another city that was ransomware besides Baltimore.
Yeah, should we just...
But a different twist. They actually decided to pay.
I'm assuming that someone was just like, watching the show. And was like, no. Let's not be like that Boston place.
It wasn't Boston, which would have vindicated me or made me a suspect. I'm not sure.
Oh, it would have definitely made you a suspect. I'm just waiting for the days. We're going to get the knock at some point for Tom, because he said Boston for Baltimore so many times that it's got to be like on the horizon.
Yeah, this was a Florida city, $600,000. Now, about this, we don't have a lot of details about the functions of the hack, but we do know that they paid, and this is one of the things that I think is an interesting decision that I said Baltimore should have made. If you are going to face with 60 million, whatever, some millions of dollars of taxpayer monies. You can stand in your high castle and say, I don't believe in paying these people. It's a principle thing. Exactly. But the principle is not yours to make. It should be taken to the vote. You're talking about spending $16 million of taxpayer money on your principles. Maybe I can argue with you in spirit on things like that, but at some point spending $16 million... there's some thoughts that have to be. I think that's probably what they faced. Do we spend $600,000? We don't have any easy way to do it without doing it. It's going to cost too much to rebuild things, so maybe they made a decision. Yeah, they spent the money, and hopefully they're also spending several $1 million on upgrading everything, because this is going to happen again. So this isn't the first city, not the last city.
This is going to be these types of attacks are always so interesting, because you don't really hear much about the forensics that happen after. To kind of figure out attribution and see who's actually pulling these kind of attacks off. Like, we don't have any groups, right, that are like openly claiming these attacks. Like,
I mean, would you want to?
Well, I mean, like, we knew that North Korea was doing some interesting things with, ransomwares, right?
Yeah.
We know that Iran is agitated and has a cyber force and does these kind of things, but neither one of them has stepped up and claimed responsibility, or has any of the data even been correlated, or has there been time enough for the data to have been correlated to even do attribution? So I can't wait to see where some of this ransomware stuff goes in the next 10 years. So, because there's going to be a fingerprint for it. There's going to be a signature for it. There's going to be more forensics developed for us to be able to find and do attribution for these types of attacks.
And there's a different challenge in some of that, because the more professional criminals, the best crime is one you didn't know was committed. So they're often looking for ways to do things. This is like the cryptojacking, where they take over the computers to steal CPU cycles. The goal is not to be noticed. They've done a lot of work. They don't pin the CPU. They keep the CPU usage below 50%. They're even running in a nice state. So if other things on your server want to use the CPU, it goes, I'll get out of the way for you. I only want to use the idle time. I'm here to be low key. And as more criminals get involved in it, not just, there's a difference between the hackers who go, hey, I just want to see if I can break something. I want to see if I can take it apart. That's a different person than a criminal who's specifically focused on the criminal enterprise. They're low key, they're quiet. You think of the thieves that may be stealing stuff, they want to be as quiet, not leave a trace, and they certainly don't brag about what they steal. They still, especially when you talk about the high-tech thieves that we're dealing with in this nature of these attacks. They're thieves that absolutely, they want to be known. They're part of usually probably a larger organization, I would assume. It's all about being low-key. Collect the money. You don't brag that I did it. You're not trying to get some cred. I'm trying to get some dollars. So it does make that a little bit more challenging, like you said, to figure attribution. Now, kind of related to that is the fact that everybody's on the internet, except for this person. This person doesn't exist. And if anyone can stare at this for a second, there is a flaw that was noticed about this. This is an AI-generated face. And what they did was they produced, and we've seen more and more of this, like things with deep fakes, but why not go a step further than deep fakes? First, we start with someone who doesn't exist. Therefore, when I create this social media persona to fraud you, I can't be reverse engineered and found. You can't right-click Google image search me and find another photo of me. Matter of fact, all the photos you found, I created. So they created this person who doesn't exist. The flaws in the ears.
Yep.
The ears weren't produced properly, and no one noticed because it's not obvious. But this person was made from a accumulation of faces. They don't really exist. And this was used in a fraud scheme. And yeah, it's just really interesting that they put this all together to do. So Spy used AI-generated face to connect with targets. This is just going to be the next thing. And the fact that those deep fake systems are getting better, where Samsung released that phone program where it can take even a 2D image. Of course, it's much more advanced to use a 3D image. It scans you, and then you talk as someone else. This was a sci-fi thing. This is now becoming a reality. So now you can go, I don't think that picture's real, so I want to talk to you in person. They hook up and you Skype with them, and they've used these systems to then fool you a step further.
Man,
everything about the person.
Dream, right?
Yeah.
Damn, they put Neve out of a job. He ain't even go.
I mean, this is the same conversation that our other good friend Teppy we were having. Yeah. And he showed me this. You know, there's a website you can go to. It's actually called This Person Does Not Exist.
Did you see what they did with the cats?
Yes.
Some horrific looking cats.
This cat does not exist is a whole different problem.
Yeah, it's scary.
It just doesn't do things right.
They haven't picked. The deep fakes are not together there.
Yeah, this person, I'll pull that up real quick because this person does not exist is actually kind of cool.
But I just saw something where they have come out with something to scan faces to determine if they are being used, like these type of, the composite faces are being used. It can detect it.
Composite.
This is the composite site. It's thispersondoesnotexist.com. So
I mean, I've seen that guy before.
Yeah.
And it just keeps randomly generating these faces.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's crazy. I mean, they're very... So this is an interesting concept.
Can I see what my baby looks like now? Should be able just to take pictures of me and the mother and just...
They do that at the hospital now.
Now, here's the cat one. This is the...
Oh, yeah.
It's occasionally it screws up because
sometimes you get a cat with 4 eyes.
It assembles the cat wrong, and it just becomes really interesting.
Very scary looking.
Actually, the funniest one is this... I bet you guys didn't know this thing. This creates fake Airbnb listings for bookings.
Oh, boy.
Including rooms and everything. I'm seeing the site might be down.
So this is starting to become like a Fisher.
Oh, yeah.
A Fisher's dream.
The site's not loading right now.
AI phishing is... Come on, guys. How they got hacked. AI. Done. Finished.
I mean, these are completely new attack angles. The site's not loading. It was someone made it as an idea, and I was shocked at how good it looked. But they would take the listings of all the Airbnb. They were scraping the Airbnb public site, and then they would build listings based on the words. It was doing the context of the words, which is really scary. And this is that Elon Musk mentioned this when they were talking about, if you're not familiar with like what a writing prompt is, it's kind of like where you've got a story you want to start. So you start with a writing prompt. And there's been some real headway made to AI writing prompts where you give it a piece of information, it scans the internet to assemble the rest of the article, and then writes articles.
Oh, boy.
There's already people using this to help generate news because they start with that, and I go, I need to fill up another 500 words, but I only have the byline. I only have a basic article, and the systems will literally go out and search. This is some of the news aggregation systems that are now for people that want to have news on their site that they don't want to copy for SEO reasons. They want original content. They have these tools that can create this now.
That's just...
So these are this is some of the fascinating deep dives. Hey, we're gone for 2 weeks. I wasn't on here, so I had to really spend a lot of time reading this. Oh, let's see. Let's catch up with comments for a second here. Yeah, pay to encourage ransoms, but the same not paying could cost more. Yeah, that's definitely true there. So, yeah, quite the paradox. Oh, someone noticed I'm using Parrot OS. Yes, I am. Still works there. Cat assembled wrong. Please try again. Yes. That is a real problem on that. You do not want to assemble it wrong. Okay, what else do we have here? I thought this... Okay, I haven't had a chance to talk to my friend who literally babysits BGP. That's a big part of his job, is auditing BGP.
The BGP babysitter.
The BGP babysitter. And anyways, this is a large European route leak sends traffic through China Telecom.
Whoops.
So there was if you're not familiar with how BGP works, and it's an unfortunate system, but it's based on trust, which it requires you to trust people, which is even worse. And the border gateway protocol runs by each segment of the internet is managed by, like, say, if you have your own BGP block, you set the announcements to say, these are my IPs and I own them. And other people have to be in agreement with you that you own those IP blocks. This is how IPs get assigned to segments of the internet, essentially. China has a very large BGP range, but even smaller businesses or big businesses, once they become a certain size, they may have enough IPs that they have their own BGP routes. Well, where this gets wrong is if no one audits and China announces that they own a piece of the internet, it also chooses how the routing goes. So all this routing through Europe went through China Telecom. Now, it was fixed fairly quickly, and it seems like it was an innocent mistake, because actually that's one of the challenges of BGP, and this is what my friend Tony does, is deals with a lot of this because it's constantly happening. This is like a persistent problem where literally typos, they double announce the wrong routes. Like, there's a lot of just problems with BGP where it's just going, the routes are wrong. Someone typoed it. It's clearly they transposed the last two numbers, and they have to work this out and get the announcements right. But my question was, because this happened to happen on a very interesting date, Tiananmen Square. Which, as far as China is concerned, did not happen, have erased from history, and will certainly find yourself quickly in a Chinese prison if you mention such things as Tiananmen Square. It has been erased from the history books. Any outcry, outrage against the government, they're very, very restrictive of. So I find it really odd coincidence that China made a big mistake with a telecom that would have a lot of data passing through it during the Tiananmen Square times. I don't know. I mean, I'm completely, like, was someone trying... Yeah.
I doubt it was a mistake.
Yeah. It's one of those things, like, it's just too damn suspicious. Like, where was someone they knew trying to stage, like, a protest, and this is their way of disrupting said protest? That was my thought, too. Like, were they planning on it's this so many year anniversary of the Tiananmen Square, let's stage a protest. China says, how do we disrupt it? Well, they're all using phones. They're all in Europe. Because that's where they're going to launch it from. I don't know. I'm really reaching. I will. You can slap me for putting the tinfoil hat on there. But tell me I'm not plausible sometimes. I don't like going into rants like that, but tell me I'm not a little bit plausible. So
that's pretty, wow.
I did a lot of research on BGP hijacking. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, you can really... It works.
Go look up Zam's Talk. Go look at Zam's Talk, XAM, at DEF CON. We have mutual friends. That's how I was introduced to him. He has broken BGP in a way in which is unfixable. They have no fix for the BGP flaw that he found. So when I look at it, I'm just like, whoa.
Looking at the protocols of BGP, it seems like it's trusted between networks. There's no really security measures in place other than, hey, I can move data faster for you, and so the data comes to me.
Yeah.
Routing.
It's routing. It's really interesting, and Google has proposed a better system for BGP, like a replacement for it, but it's been slow to adopt, and BGP has a lot of problems because you have to get everyone to agree. Like, the internet has to agree to make it work. That changing standards that run things and the routing equipment that runs this. This is so for the BGP meets at what they refer to as NAPs, or the network access points. So where MCI net and like another place meets, so I would say like UUNet, MCI net, I'm trying to remember some names. So all the CenturyTel stuff now. Each cross connect on there is going to be where the BGP routing tables, as I understand it, that's where they're announced. So this is going to be one of those things of well, it's complicated because all these people at every interconnection have to agree on how that works. So that's definitely kind of a mess. Yeah, BGP carrier was the name. So that's definitely crazy. I had to turn my screen off. Someone's messaging me something funny. If everyone's ever wondered if Tom's fired people, he has. And this someone ran into someone I fired and had a lot of not nice things to say about him. It's hysterical.
Oh, boy.
Anyways, back on topic here. What else do we got here?
Before we get too far into it, I want to thank whoever sent these stickers for me.
Oh, they're from which?
With the no return address.
From Phoenix?
From Phoenix.
I think we had a DC group inside of here, didn't we?
Yeah. It's the DC group from Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
So shout out to them.
What is that? You. DC what? 480.
DC 480.
There you go.
Woo-hoo.
DC 480, wherever you are at. Thank you.
Netgate.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I will put them on now.
Ooh, he's about to bless you live.
Blessing it live with the
with
stickers?
The stickers. Wow. Hold on. Where are you going to put it? Oh. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a little crooked, but...
I mean, that's how it's supposed to be. Man, look. Listen.
We'll get it there.
It's all about crookedness. It's all about putting it where it fits.
But thank you. I appreciate it. Send more stickers, and we will find places to put them.
That's awesome. So one of the first things we talked about on episode 1 was Citrix. They haven't gone away.
Nope.
It's Citrix Hack exposed employees to ID theft and fraud, lawsuit says. So this is an interesting twist. Because it sounds like the hackers were after intellectual property that Citrix had, but that intellectual property also happened to contain usernames or personal information, not usernames as much, but like the personal names, social security numbers, and everything else about the employees there, payroll information. So they're suing them for not protecting their data properly. So a massive data breach at Fort Lauderdale-based Citrix Systems providing cloud-based business solutions exposed personal information of thousands of current and former employees to theft by international hackers earlier this year. And this is an interesting angle. I think we mentioned another company doing the same thing, getting sued because they were had lost people's things. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting angle. Like, it's not just suing the company that you did business with, but when you work for the company that gets hacked. Well, that's a different problem. Like, if they do have the company you work for has your payroll, has all that information now. Yeah,
that's no fun. This is why employers need to take cybersecurity seriously. It is beyond just your users. It is the people that you work for. It is the communications that they do while at work. That could be booking something for their child. That could be paying their personal bills. That could be just you having data on them, a background check, a clearance, anything. You have to take it serious for reasons beyond your customers. You have people who are basically spending a quarter of their life with you, right?
Yeah.
When they come to work, and you have to do right by them.
Yeah. And it's an interesting attack vector because sometimes that may be all they're after is information they can get to get personal with you. They don't need anything the company had otherwise. They only need that information. So some companies think, we don't have to do this with protection because what do I have here other than payroll information? What we do is public domain information or not that high value, at least perceived by the people that own it. So if it gets taken, no big deal, but it kind of is because then it's all your employees and their information. So, and this is the same problem. And I'm going to be speaking to the local group of accountants, and I'm trying to beat security over their head because a lot of accounting firms, they have all that personal information because even for me, I don't have any payroll information in my company because I have an outsourced accountant. But if those accountants get compromised, so do all the payroll information, social security numbers and everything because accountants have all the things they need to be me. So that's kind of a scary attack vector. Actually, a lot of accountants now, if you have a full-service accounting firm, they have access to your bank and everything. My accountant writes checks for me. They're authorized to do that because they do full service. They write the payroll checks, they're stamped and signed and everything, so that way I don't got to do it. I just outsource all that. Like the same way I recommend people outsourcing security. Turns out I hate accounting, so I outsource it. It's as a service. It's not a problem. I don't mind.
AS?
AAAS, something like that.
Counting as a service?
Counting as a service.
Ass.
I just get statements that I try not to open because they make me cry. It says we're EFTing this amount out of your account to the taxes, and I'm like, I gotta open it because I need to know, but it's not gonna make me happy. Yeah. Taxes ain't no joke.
We were just having that talk, weren't we?
Yes.
Yes, it's that's no fun.
Not fun.
So definitely interesting, but we still don't have a lot other than Citrix. It sounds like what was it, that Iranian hacker group's the one that did it, but we don't really know much about it. There's not been much information. It's been pretty low key.
It's been quiet. Speaking of Iranian, oh my God.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff flying around in the world when it comes to the U.S. and other countries and the cyber war and the real life war and the. Did you hear about the gas plant that blew up?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like the Russians have been playing with our infrastructure for the last, I don't know, at least since 2017.
They've been targeted, but I don't know if there's
2
any
years.
proof. We know it happened, but we don't have any connection to it.
Was there any proof of Stuxnet? Never.
Yes,
There was never any proof.
There's a little bit of acknowledgement.
There was acknowledgement by Israeli forces, and that led to some assumptions. But no one in the U.S. will ever tell you that we were a part of Stuxnet. No one in Russia will ever tell you they blew up a gas plant. But I'm telling you, oil refineries are on their list. It's spooky. Oil refineries just don't blow up. That's just not how things work around here. Blow up?
I don't know.
Catch fire.
Chernobyl?
Yeah. Blow up or what? Dude, then there's a whole nother. Hold on. I'm going to need a whole nother roll of tinfoil.
No, Chernobyl. I watched an HBO series. I did a lot of Chernobyl's. It was just a series of stupid events.
It was bad events.
Yeah. But we can't talk about something that is tangible, something that's very real that happened. I did a video specifically on my channel about it, and I did talk to Kyle, who was also interviewed for this. Kyle is the CEO of Huntress Labs, and I did speak with him this morning on this. So he's a pretty awesome dude, and Huntress they were the ones that helped debrief some of this. Now, this is interesting what happened. Now, first off, you're going to see the names of these big MSP tooling companies, but they were not the ones at fault for this. It was the MSPs, but I also will stick a little bit of blame on the tooling companies because, for example, Webroot dashboard appears to be used in all these hacks. What they did was they compromised one of the managed service providers, an IT company that provides service, and they started deploying on their system all this ransomware. Now, the step-by-step procedures, they removed the backups, they disabled the antivirus. They were really methodical. They knew what they were doing. They had access, and they gained all this access, which sounded like, at least with one of them, one was just through an open RDP port at the IT company. And I'm kind of thinking, what kind of IT company's got RDP exposed with weak credentials? And I blame Webroot because Webroot, technically the truth, they have two-factor authentication. More specifically, Webroot has two passwords. You have a main password and a secondary password, but your second-factor authentication is another static password. But Webroot made that as an option, not mandatory. So this company's, each one of these ones weren't using it. So it might have prevented it, but it's also one of those things. They weren't using it. And any of these tooling companies, in my opinion, it's almost like, yeah, they shouldn't just offer two-factor. It should be obligatory. Like, you can't do it. And actually, there was a big announcement on the Webroot blog. We've decided to make this obligatory, and we forced everyone to re-sign in and set up 2FA now because they don't like their name being dragged through the mud. But I'm kind of like, let's go back. We play a little bit of devil's advocate. Why did they not turn it on mandatory? Well, they wanted ease of sign-up. They wanted users. But in the end, making your product an ease of sign-up meant you had a lot of people who never followed up and set up that second factor of authentication. Full disclosure, we use SolarWinds and we use Huntress Labs. I don't think Huntress Labs forces 2FA, but they highly encourage it. By the way, it's not a company that you could use as an attack vector. If you were to somehow to hack my Huntress Labs account, you would see reports because it's only a report only. But we use SolarWinds, which does have full access to all of my clients. SolarWinds has no option. You can't sign up with SolarWinds. First thing is 2FA. And if you can't skip it, you can't next. You have to do the code, set your backup codes up. That's not an option not to do that. And hats off to them. They're kind of like, yeah, we don't think this is. It was optional like years ago when I signed up, but now anytime I add a user, it's not optional. It's not. There's no way, even as the master of the account, that I can go in there and set that. So, but this is another one of those attack vectors, and me and Xavier had some conversation about this before we got here, because we're talking about different methodologies that might be better in the MSP space. We were thinking about some product ideas to, one, because we're very security minded, and better ways to handle logins, credentials, and access management for the MSP space. We have some product ideas. If we can, we're going to put our pen to paper and see if we can come up with them. But it's one of those things that we know the IT companies. Why would you want to attack? This is from the. Let's look at the attackers as entrepreneurs. How do I scale my business bigger? Well, I have to send all these phishing emails to all these businesses, and they're getting better at being trained on it.
Right.
But it turns out that these IT companies are lax and lazy, and they don't have access to a company. They have access to a lot of companies. And that's why this attack scaled and made the news so quickly, because it only takes, I mean, you even look at, I consider myself a small business. Granted, they're not all on my MSP stack, but we have close to 300 businesses we're doing IT for. That's a lot of names that we have information on. So attacking me, if it granted you 300 companies, and then each one of those companies has a huge number of computers, you scale your business faster of sending ransomware out without even having to bother with the phishing emails. You just have back-end full access.
Right. Done. Finished.
Yeah.
Access. And it looks like the MSP is putting in time. I might actually go ahead and send an invoice while I'm in there, since I'm on the network.
Yeah. You could do all kinds of nefarious things right there. So it's kind of a messy thing, and it's I encourage MSPs. And someone asked if I go through audits, and unofficially, it's only because I have friends like Xavier and a couple other friends that do security. I've had them poke away at things I've set up. I was like,
Our Watch loves us.
Our Watch loves us. Yeah. I've got tools and monitoring set up, and I ask, it's less official, but if you don't have a friend who's Xavier, or you just want to hire Xavier, we can figure that out too.
We'll work on it. We're working on it.
We're working on
it. Some ideas.
Yeah, we have some ideas. We're working on that, but that's one of those things. If you're in the tech space, never be too proud to have someone look at your stuff. And if you're a small business and you want to know if your IT guy is doing it right, he shouldn't be bashful if you ask him if he's got two-factor everywhere. It's kind of related. I have a friend that he's walked and looked in the back of kitchens before orders. He's got a real paranoia about food. And he's like, dude, if they won't let me in the back kitchen, I don't need to eat there.
There you go. Yeah, seriously. That's real. Like, if they're not willing to give me the grand tour and, like, brag about everything, then, like, it's a Gordon
if I can't have a
grand
peek
tour.
back in the kitchen, I don't know if I want to eat here. I was like, okay, I get it. That's
kind of secrets.
That dude also probably spends like $100 per night to eat.
Oh yeah.
It's going to like the best places.
Oh, he is a high end person who goes to nice places, and he says, "I don't."
He's not walking in the back of McDonald's. I'm sorry.
No.
Sir,
we already know what's going on back there.
You can look over the counter.
You look over the counter and see you probably don't want to eat here. That dude ain't washed his hands in a week.
They're making a burger without the gloves on.
Yikes.
Oh man.
We're going to get a cease and desist from McDonald's now.
Cease and desist.
You've never seen this.
Yeah, WebRoot 2FA. Well,
LOL.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like one of those things that it is. Someone said, I seen someone on Reddit, we'll sue you for calling it 2FA. It's not. And I'm like, no, technically it's the truth. It's 2FA. It's two static passwords. That's not a good 2FA, but it is. You are technically right. It doesn't mean you're really a good idea, but
somebody was in a room and said that exact thing. I mean, what is really a seed and TOTP codes? I mean, the seed is your username, and TOTP codes are just your passwords. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is the same link again. Hold on. What's that next one I got here? Oh, we were talking about this in the car. This is fun.
Oh,
now, this is a not really a hack, but I think it could lead to, and you really have to think about the apps you have.
Misuse of trust.
I mean, we talked about the misuse of trust before with companies doing bad things.
Bad stuff with your phone. Don't do stuff to my phone.
Yeah, I'm highly careful about anything I put on my phone. So La Liga's app listened in on fans to catch bars illegally streaming soccer. So to give you a little bit of perspective, in case you're not familiar with what this is. So they would load the soccer app on there. And if you are a public venue, and I've dealt with this with clients because a lot of people don't realize bars, sometimes when we do installs, we're setting up Wi-Fi and they get the TV, they find out that there's a big fee. They're like, hold on, I thought I'd be able to stream the game here at my sports bar. And then Comcast slaps them with no problem. It's only this much per episode. Here's the contract. Here's the thing you got to sign.
TV.
Oh yeah, there's a license fee sports bars pay in America and of course even abroad to stream a game. doesn't mean they go, I won't play the game. All right. Oh, cool. Just don't turn it to that channel. And people turn it to that channel. So what they did was they used the app because they knew people would have it looking at scores or all the stuff. And they would listen to see if based on the geolocation, okay, we realize the phone has a location. We know they're at this bar right now. And it's streaming the game. Did that bar buy a license from us to stream the game? And then they hit the bars to license. Now, I wonder how long this went on. Before they really caught up with it. Like, these bars are like, how are they catching us, dude? They got someone in there. They got people spying on us. They got an army spying on you. They got a whole bunch of people spying on you.
Botnet of spies.
Botnet of spies.
No longer are they zombies. They're all just now spies.
Part of my smile...
That makes La Liga spyware.
Yeah. Part of my smile, though, is that's clever. Like, what... That dude got a lot of money. He's, you got some corporate guy breathing down your neck going, we're missing out on all these license fees. We know they do it. We're going to send people to every location to try to catch these pubs, streaming our game. And someone's like, I got an idea.
But if you guys remember a while back, Apple announced that they have a patent for that, for the iPhone. The iPhone can do that. They don't use the service now, but they implemented it to stop recording at concerts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And my phone has the option, because the Pixel phones have this. I have it turned off. I disabled it. But they have the listening thing, so that they instantly tell you what song's on.
Oh, yeah. They have that on Edge, like Shazam.
Yep.
Yeah.
They built it into here, and it's one of those things. I have it turned off, but I thought it's kind of interesting. I turn it on when I want to add a song. I got to admit, it's pretty novel, because I can just... It's tempting to use all the time, because I'm like, I like this song. I don't know what it is. Cool, it's in my library.
But the funny thing is, it can find the most obscure song. It could be a song like you made in your basement, and you play it like, what's this song? And it'll tell you, like, you just made this in your basement in 2019. It's like, how did you know?
It's crazy how good it works.
Yeah.
I used it at my son's concert, a kid's concert in high school. And it picked up them playing the song and told me what it was. And it said it was an acoustic version of it. I'm like, it is actually, because they're singing it. It's like,
yeah, it's
scary.
Huge.
So it's not a far street to take that same technology. But, of course, this goes a step further. What are they going to do about these apps and the data that comes from them? Because you did say you used a microphone, which would have raised an eyebrow for me. It's like back when everyone had an app that turned on the, what do you call that? The flashlight. I need permission to your contacts. I'm like, you're a flashlight. I don't think so. And, because people started gathering it. But something I thought, too, the recent Google Maps update is a little bit scary. For the reason, because maybe me and Xavier drive over the speed limit occasionally. Allegedly. But Google was letting me know.
Oh, no, I got a parking ticket last time.
Oh, that's right. He got a parking ticket.
When I was moving too fast through a small town. Shout out to the small town. Yeah, they got a few of my dollars. That's the most expensive parking ticket ever, too.
But this question came up when I was late to something, and I was allegedly going to make up that time that I was running late. And Google started first displaying the speed limit when you look at maps. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I know what the speed limit is, in case I didn't know what the speed limit is.
Results.
Well, that was scary.
Did you know?
See?
So Google is listening to me over here. So it tells you speed limit. Now it also tells you your speed, how fast you're going. And I started thinking about that, going, could my phone be used as a evidence to remove that word allegedly and say, no, we don't allegedly know how fast. We don't need no speed traps. We just watched you go over. We went to Google and we said, hey, Google, you want to sell me some information? How about send out speeding tickets or whatever? Expect it. I'm not making ideas. Trust me, someone else already had these ideas. I'm warning that they're coming. I'm going to have to GPS hack my phone or not use the maps.
I just already don't use Google anything, so I'm okay. The only thing I use of Google is to do that. Literally, I have to go and dig something up to get this thing working. I'm not a Google guy. I like Google Go. I like Golang. Golang is awesome. I like Google Cloud Compute. It's sweet. But I can't use Gmail, barely. And it's because I'm already locked in. I won't use Google Search. I won't use Google Phones. I avoid Android. The reason being, we know that they want to make money with my data.
Yeah.
They're very, very open and honest about it. And that allows me to make a clear decision to move towards a company who is very sneaky about it.
Yeah.
Like Apple. Because I don't want you to tell me that you're seeing other people just be good at cheating on me behind my back.
And I think part of Apple, so Apple's interesting because I think it's privacy is an accident turned into a feature.
There you go.
Here's the thing. All these companies had ways to monetize us. Monetizing my existence, Google is damn good at. Apple, late to the game, didn't have a plan for it. So they're like, crap, what do we do to monetize people? We ain't got a plan. We got no game plan for this. I got an idea. Let's flip it on them. We're privacy oriented because we couldn't figure out a way to monetize your data.
There you go.
So now we just called ourselves a privacy company. I think that's how you turn, like Apple's good at that kind of stuff. Let's turn a flaw into a feature. We didn't know how to do it anyways, so we just said, why do anything with it? Maybe I'm reaching here, but that's kind of how I feel about Apple. I don't think they make bad product or anything. I'm just saying that's how that works.
I get it. I totally understand. I don't even disagree.
And it's a good play
Yeah.
because no one else is doing it in the market. They have a good market. They have a good base. Why not? Why
I
not
would
twist it
run
up?
like OpenBSD or FreeBSD or ABSD, but fucking Adobe doesn't want to give me a Linux version of Photoshop or Creative Cloud.
It's going to be interesting because we have some
Sheesh.
players slowly. There's enough privacy advocates. There's enough people on the internet. We're seeing phones like the Purism and stuff like that. So there may be another option coming that has some of that, but it's not here today. It's not even here tomorrow, but it is slowly inching forward. If you look up some of their phones, they seem to be highly oriented towards privacy. They are well funded, and they might actually make some game-changing technologies and set some better standards for that. I hope. Got my fingers crossed.
Same, man.
Yeah.
Nuts.
So, but yeah, be careful what apps you saw on your phone because it can lead to compromise. It can be used to you getting your favorite bar busted, trying to play a show. You feel bad. You're the one that brought the Trojan horse in the bar.
Right, exactly.
You're like, I just wanted to watch the game.
Dude, I gotta make a new shirt that's gonna be this, but with the phone now. So people understand. Cause oh my god, like the spying that's happening on the mobile is just next level. We already knew about it for desktop. There's signatures in Suricata for Windows telemetry. I show Mo, and he's like, what? This much data's flying off about the USBs that you got plugged in? I'm like, yeah, bro. And it's like a mouse and keyboard. It's intense.
I'm trying to think. That's a good point, Rasta.
So I dropped the link I want you guys to open to, and I see you as in these guys and all of you. I dropped the link in there. We'll get to this. This is the next story I want to cover. I'm not going to read all of it, but this person's actually won. They write well. They're amusing what this person had to say. And basically they survived a security breach. And the guy kind of articulates how he comes into work, he's ready to take his morning dump, and the bosses are all on him. They're like, no, we don't got time for your morning dump. We have a real problem. And he debriefs like in real time, so to speak, what happened at his company, how they got hacked. And he's debriefing. This is what went on. How was your day? My day started out with, I thought I was rolling into work, and it turns out my company's compromised because we had some servers exposed, and we never thought about it. If they got hacked, no big deal. But it turns out they also had the AD credentials, and it propagated our network, and they owned us. But
Worst nightmare.
yeah, it's a worst nightmare, but I love the candor this person had to walk you through firsthand what it's like to be at a company experiencing a breach. Also, while he had to take a dump. So, the writing, it's a lot of write-up here. This is actually a pretty good from this morning. So it was a...
so much stuff happened over the past 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, and then the comments are great. I like the first comment that's on here on Reddit. Let me jump to this real quick, though. We had a new hire cry in the bathroom and decided he wasn't going to work in IT anymore. Like this. That is how some of these breaches go down. It's just like chaos everywhere, and then some guy goes and cries in the bathroom. Yep. That sounds like a real security breach. It seems pretty honest.
That's pretty rough.
Yeah, it's pretty rough, but I'm not going to read through the story. I'll leave you guys to actually read through what this person write word for word, but it is an interesting touch on that. And there's been a couple times Reddit has really come through, and Reddit, our sysadmin, where there's been some people, sometimes with some throwaway accounts, that have been super honest about what actually happened inside their company. One of the more famous ones was the guy who deleted the production database on his first day on the job. And they were going to sue him and fire him, and Reddit kind of came through and had a really interesting perspective. who gave you keys to the kingdom on your first day? That person should be fired immediately. And on his first day of work, basically, he was a junior, by the way. This guy was green out of college, first new job being a DB admin, and he was supposed to be setting things up in a test database, and he was so new, he was copy and pasting out of the Confluence documentation. Turns out, the Confluence documentation was all based on the real database, so when he copied and pasted, and he did some drop table stuff, it just dropped it out of the real database. Just, how did you give the new guy full access? And then here you go. Here's a Confluence. Go build some stuff. Yes. By the way, it's attached to the production server. Never give the new guy all access. But anyways, back to Reddit. The debrief on that hacking, interesting, good. There's some humor. There's some takeaways from here. And I just wanted to bring that up. That's one of the places that I spent a lot of time reading, sometimes posting on Reddit to kind of cover some of these things or get a better perspective. Because you're hearing a lot of times from people, granted, you got to take it with a grain of salt. Maybe it was embellished a little bit, but still, there's sometimes some pretty honest things here and there. One of my favorite ones was a good debrief of someone who was hacked because someone temporarily had set, and they completely admitted this, the backup password to backup, and they completely forgot. And the backup was also exposed on the AD with an RDP login and given temporary admin privileges that everyone forgot to revoke when they were trying to solve a problem with the backup server. No one rolled back all the permissions, and when they got ransomware, the hacker was kind enough. They made an agreement with the hacker that we'll pay the ransom if you tell us how you hacked us. And he said, oh, actually, I will, as soon as you give me the money, because you're going to not like it because it was really obvious. And he said, yeah, your backup password was backup. And everyone says, man, I remember we did that last year. It's been sitting like that for, like, everyone's like, oh, he's right, we did that, wow. And he just says, sorry, but you guys made it really easy, like, you know. Whoops. So I still think Reddit sysadmin is a great place to learn about sysadmin and learn about the angry sysadmins out there and some of that. But that's kind of a fun read in there too. So
just to follow with what Rostam said, he said a lot of new apartments in Chicago now have the Nest thermostat. Now they are having problems with previous tenants still connecting to them when their lease is up. I looked up this article, and yeah, they just push out a new firmware where if I had a Nest Cam and sold it to you, I can still access that Nest Cam with my credentials, even though I've sold it to you. And so that was causing a problem. I mean, you can have access to video feeds and whatever else it picks up.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's, you know, when you put something over Wireshark, see where it's going.
Yeah. It's, so the National Association of Realtors started making these guides you can find, which I think is really interesting. It's how to relinquish your smart home to the next owner. And this is a growing concern because sometimes there's not methodologies for it. Mm-hmm. And I was, looking at electric cars, and one of the cars I came up with was the Nissan Leaf. Turns out, though, if you buy a used Nissan Leaf, it's a challenge to get the old owner. If that person bought it new, it's not an easy way to get them off it. There's a dealership function to remove them from the car. Like, they can't willfully remove themselves either. There's some challenges to it. I don't know if they fixed that as an app problem, but this became kind of another one of those dives Tom did into some of these things. And there's a good smart home article. You look up the realtor, but there's whole concepts of once you've made the home smart, do you take that stuff with you? You kind of have to. Should the next homeowner just trust it? No. If you move into a home that's got some of that. So I think that's going to be a next iteration we see in some of the smart home things is ways to transfer not only title of ownership of the home, but ownership of all the crap in it that's connected, all the toasters to the internet.
It's like when you get a rental car and you connect to the car audio, and it's like, make sure you always delete that before you give the car back. Because I've gotten in rental cars, and it's literally a list of 20 people who all had the car.
Oh, I know.
Previously, and all their information and contacts and everything.
That's for sure. We ready to talk about this Mozilla Firefox situation?
Ooh.
So there's a couple 0 days.
Look at that picture.
I know. That's why I grabbed this article. The picture sold me. The picture of the Firefox on fire back here. So 0 days. 0 days are worth a lot of money, and they found this in the wild. And why did they find it wild? What were they doing with it? It turns out they were targeting Coinbase, and that becomes really scary at that point. It's actually a ZDNet, the original reporter of this. Actually looks like they are. But they were targeting Coinbase. users in this. So this was kind of an interesting vector because you don't just drop a 0 day because it's going to get patched if you get caught, if you're attacking in the wild, but you're taking that zero opportunity, that 0 day. And it turns out it was actually the attack vector. So it looks like, here's the exact links. Firefox 0 day was used attack against Coinbase employees, not even its users. So they were really trying to get in there. And that is amazing. That's maybe nation level. That's something.
I think what's more interesting is that Samuel from Project Zero over at Google had already found this before, and now the question becomes: how did these attackers get their hands on this vulnerability? Did they discover it themselves, or did they have insider access to someone at the company, or did they fish somebody at the company to be able to get access to the Bugzilla, or, did they just hack Bugzilla? Because people have hacked Bugzilla before.
Yeah.
To be able to get, back in 2015, to be able to get access.
Because they were watching what was going on in the bugs in there.
Right. So it's just like, this is really spooky because Mozilla was already made aware of this.
Yeah, and they were in the process of fixing it.
Trying to get it fixed.
So did an employee, did someone that is trusted on the Bugzilla list release this information to these people? And here's from the article. Fortunately, the 2 Firefox bugs, which were chained into a single exploit and then deployed against Coinbase employees, was detected by Coinbase staff. So I don't know what security measures they have at Coinbase, but good news is they have them because they did stop it from happening. So there's a good side of the story that it didn't work. But
an even more scary side of it is that other organizations outside of Coinbase have been targeted.
Yeah.
And they're still working to notify them. They're unnamed.
Yeah.
I was reading the tweets from a guy on the Coinbase security team, and he said basically, they were hacking. They didn't affect any customers, just attacking the Coinbase database.
Right, no, but they're also attacking people outside of Coinbase.
Yeah, they're attacking other cryptocurrencies.
Oh, I'm not 100% sure who, but because it hasn't been, according to the article, they haven't gone through I guess Google Zero has gotten deep into it, the Zero project. Because, of course, they're the ones who found the bug, so they have all the proof of concepts, and they can generate the data for indicators of compromise and probably will work with other SIEM integrators to come up with a signature for it. So I'd imagine that this could potentially be like a wildfire because, when I turned on my computer, I had to update Firefox 2 times this week, and that's never fun because I'm running like 5 different Firefox browsers with like 70 tabs in each one, and I'm like, man, I'm in the middle of demos, and I'm in the middle of proof of concept work, and I'm like, I don't have time to update.
Yeah.
But I could be one of those companies that they're targeting because we do cool shit like that. So, yeah, that was icky.
It was icky. We got to update. It's the same thing. I constantly keep my system. I've seen all the Firefox updates coming through. I just deal with it. I shut down and reboot my system just to clear out because I know I'm seeing updates all the time, especially because I'm running Parrot, and Parrot's a rolling distro, so there's a lot of updates. So it gets rebooted more frequently than my other one because the updates are coming through more frequently. But you got to stay on top of it. If I'm doing any security things on here, I got to make sure it's secure. So that's I don't know. It's going to be interesting because the browsers have become the playground where the hackers are attacking now. Looking for 0 days in browsers is big money. It's where we live now because so much of our work, like basically, you don't want to shut down your browser because you've got all this stuff going because that's part of the job. Everything from my invoicing system to even how we manage SolarWinds. That's all web browser based. There's no tools we load. That's how I'm able to run it in Linux. It all lives inside of a browser. How we do our remote access and everything, all browser based.
If you have my browser, you have everything.
Yeah, I'm done. That is like
finished.
That is huge. So these are scary attacks. Someone asked about quantum internet and quantum stuff. I'll touch on it briefly. If you're not familiar with it, there's actually been a series of updates called making things quantum proof, quantum cryptography, and it's the new Diffie-Hellman elliptic curve. Not Diffie-Hellman, but the RSA elliptic curve encryption.
Okay.
The new versions of elliptic curve have what they call I'm not an expert on this, by the way. Go head over to Bruce Schneier's blog. He's covered this. He's a quantum computing and cryptography expert. But there are methods by which we can mitigate the cryptography. So quantum, although theoretical and not practical yet, yes, we know it's available. So there have been measures taken and better security steps, what they refer to as quantum proof or quantum enabled ones. Matter of fact, oddly of all people, Microsoft has stepped up. They're submitting a lot of work to the OpenVPN project to add all the new ciphers, the larger keyed ciphers, to the OpenVPN project. Now, currently, the OpenVPN project has no problem supporting AES 256, which is a great standard to support, and they support a lot of variations of it, but they also are adding all the extra ones to it as well. So actually, thanks for Microsoft. They're contributing back. They're not writing something new, and OpenVPN still won't work in Microsoft at all, which is actually why I bring up that it's weird they contributed to it. There's nothing in a Microsoft stack that OpenVPN works on.
But now they got the Linux subsystem. Maybe.
Yeah, I can't say nothing. I mean, you can load OpenVPN on as an add-on for Microsoft, but it's not anything core to their system. It's commonly used in Microsoft's world, but it's not core to their system. It's still an add-on, is the way I should phrase that. But yeah, I've looked into it a little bit. Like I said, I'm not a cryptography expert. Look to people like Bruce Schneier or Matthew Green, John Hopkins Institute. He's an amazing. Those people know cryptography much better, and they spend a lot of time thinking about it and doing it. I just follow the standards set forth by such smart people and mathematicians. Switch to Brave. Yeah. The problem I have with switching to another browser is, will those same 0 days be found or patched at the rate that Firefox finds and patches them? The browser wars are not really over, but kind of over. We've got Chrome, we've got Firefox. Even Edge is moving to the Chromium engine now. It's a big deal to switch to another browser. Are they going to keep it as up-to-date and secure? I can't just choose another browser that's a fork unless I know they're pulling the upstream fine and patching security at the same rate. By the way, most of the time one of the problems with the forks is, because of the customizations they've added, they have to pull the downstream, merge the code, make sure their code works, and submit it. This is a 0 day. I don't got 2 days for a hobbyist to, I'm going to get around to this on this browser. Don't worry, the 0 day is only about a week away from being patched. That's where I get scary with third-party browsers. That's a real big mental problem for me about using third-party ones. It's even the Tor browser, it's only slightly delayed because that's technically uses the Firefox base and wraps the Tor into it. But even they have updates, but they're still 1 more day behind the Firefox. And this is a 0 day. We don't want 1 more day behind when there's a code release like this that can cause a problem.
Right.
I just popped some pics in how they get Discord, the rig and exam room, my doctor's office. Oh, patient's alone in the room, the terminal, and the port open. Yeah, that's a problem for sure. The creepy line about Google. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Google is a lot. There's a reason Xavier uses Firefox. I use both Firefox and Chrome. It depends what I'm doing. So that's the way I would describe it. You guys all know me as Tom Lawrence Tech, and that's who I am. And if I'm not Tom Lawrence Tech, then that's not who I am, and that's how it goes. So.
Right.
I switch back between both. Firefox sometimes chokes some of the websites and doesn't load them properly. And, Chrome just passes it through. So it depends what I'm doing. If I'm just casually browsing, I'll use Chrome. And then if I'm, in hacker mode, I'll use Firefox.
I'm 100% done with anything that I can potentially get away from Google on.
Yeah.
I don't like Google.
I like Google.
It's nothing personal. It's 100% business. If you would cut me into some of the proceeds from all of the ad spend that you get on me, I would feel much more good about using your tool that just generates data that you sell. But since I'm not getting any of that, I'm also not using Facebook very often. I barely use Twitter. I don't like giving away data.
I get maps. I know where I'm going for free because
of MapQuest.
Google. They do a better job than MapQuest. MapQuest still exists, kind of.
Definitely.
Google gives me turn-by-turn directions.
Shout out to HereNav for not selling my data and still getting me where I need to be.
Yeah. So there's trades. I think the most important part is that you are aware of them. A lot of people bump around through life not aware of what they're trading. And once again, I'm always where I am, exactly right here. And that's perspective I have on it. I'm right here. Or am I? Well, I'm always where my phone is, even if I'm not there. As if you kind of get what I'm saying. So once they track you, and I know this is what's tracked, if I didn't want to be tracked, All right, now I'm over there.
Until you live in Detroit,
But I'm
and then
over
there's the green light that's just following you from block
Yeah.
to block.
Boy, they're in trouble. Do you have the article on that? They're in trouble.
Oh, are they?
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody must have watched the
Please
show.
enlighten us.
Yeah. You guys keep talking. I'll find that article about Project
And
Greenlight.
for all the people that don't know what we mean about the green light, here in Detroit, we have this closed circuit TV recording network or whatever you want to call it. What is it? I call it global mass surveillance from gas station to gas station, store to store.
I call it oppression.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of it. And basically what it does is just records you, and they do facial recognition, and they're correlating everything.
Yeah. So they set these cameras
face.
up all over the city as for a safety feature, and then now they have implemented facial recognition. But it won't be just for the criminals. It'll be for everyone that the camera can see. So, that can lead to a lot of problems. You could owe child support and just walk into the store. And they're
Done.
like, hey, there's
Finished.
a guy that owes child
He
support.
locked up now. He ain't going to have a job no more because he's not going to make it to work because he's going to jail.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. Someone had an interesting article, and it's basically there's some investigation going on Greenlight, which I thought was kind of interesting. So,
Someone says try Waze. It was developed by Unit 8200. Tons of things were developed by Unit 8200.
Yeah.
I'm not really a fan of giving my data to another military either.
Yeah.
I think the Mossad is cool and everything. Don't get me wrong, but like I think that's not a reason why I would. It's actually a reason why I would not. At least Apple, I know, houses my data here in America and has my interest at heart when it comes to the FBI asking them for something random that they may not want. They're willing to say no. Anyone who's willing to say no, I like. I haven't found too many companies that have literally looked the feds in the eye and go, no.
Yeah.
No.
We
won't help.
Yeah, Waze is owned by Google too.
Oh yeah?
They bought them a couple years ago.
Even worse.
Yep. They bought them. And it's a whole interesting story how they got them and everything else. So, but the kind of what they're doing with Project Greenlight right now, this is just about the expansion of it, and it's been controversial, like you said. But the program, which installs cameras at participating locations that feed the city's real-time crime center, has raised questions about privacy and lacks a comparative study showing if it actually stops crime.
Does it?
Yeah.
What did I say episodes ago?
Yep.
It doesn't stop crime. It only records them in 4K.
Right. And the Detroit Housing Commission and police are ironed out an agreement that will bring 26 real-time cameras to Sheridan Place 1 and 2, the two high-rise towers on Jefferson Avenue, next to Belle Isle. So this is going to be interesting because there is more and more of these going in. We're seeing them everywhere, this whole Project Greenlight thing. But yeah, you're just on surveillance all the time. And hi, people from England. I know you're used to it. How's it going over there? How's your government doing with it? So we certainly don't trust ours with it, and this is a government-led expansion into that. So it's kind of a big privacy no-no as far as that goes, and it's going to be really interesting to kind of watch how that happens because now I'm just wandering around and being under surveillance all the time. So Apple is willing to be secure at least. Apple and Google are pretty much gotten to the point of being quite close to each other in security. Once you get to later versions of Android, they've done so much better than they did in the past. Yeah. But it's also one of those things. It's taken a lot of years for all these companies to understand security better.
I guarantee you Google would unlock a phone before Apple would.
Yeah. Well, Apple just released a new keynote where the new iOS 13 has security features where basically it asks you permissions for everything.
Yeah.
If an app is requesting information in the background, it'll tell you, would you like this app to continue requesting information? You can click no, it'll stop it. So, shout out to Apple. Mm-hmm. If you notice, their new slogan is, the lock turns into the Apple now.
When you win, you win. It just happens. Like, if you want to compete, come out with something that is doing that, and maybe you'll get more people. I'm not diametrically opposed to Android for no other reason outside of their permissions model. Have you ever went to go read the XML file that grants permissions for Android app? It's just like star.star. Like I don't want rats all over my phone.
But if you use the like I do, everything's implicit permissions on these. You have to say yes to each thing with the Pixel. This is removed for convenience on like Samsungs and things like that. That's the problem.
Pixels are on a special version of Android that Google doesn't even allow other people to even
No, they
run.
do.
Might want to Google that one.
Yeah, no, it's
They're on a special Google only
check
Android.
out but you can check out it's the same as the ASOP project, the same permission levels. Yes, it is special. You don't get the binary for free, but you can go and use the ASOP, the Android open source project, and you can get the same version.
So my grandmom's not going to do that though.
No, exactly.
And she's the one who I'm worried about getting spied on because
buy her a Pixel. It's $399 now.
Yeah.
Now
Buy grandma
I might as well
Pixel.
just buy her an iPhone so I could FaceTime her.
There you go.
Done.
If any of my, ethical hackers out there know, support on all Android phones
The 80B?
that is open by
Oh,
default.
what, 10,001? No, that's 1,001, isn't it? One of them two ports.
One of those high ports.
I think it's
So
10,000.
it's like-
I think it's 10,001.
If my phone already comes pre
80B debugged with debug mode on, like
yeah,
Huawei?
like what's the point? What's the point of all the other security? If I could just go right through that port.
Did the debug port and just pull
It's
telemetry.
on all Android devices.
If you turn it on, a lot of people rooted their phones and have done all types of bad things to Android security, and it gives it a bad name. It really does. It gives Android users a bad rep just because some people have done dumb things with their phones and have created a market of capitalizing on dumb users.
I'm not a fan.
Like
of
when
Android.
people are side loading Fortnite just because Fortnite doesn't want to be inside the App Store.
Yeah.
See, now you're opening up this entire realm of people to make a bad Fortnite on behalf of you.
Oh,
Like,
you'll
what
be
are
surprised
you,
how many
what are you
people are
doing?
running a bad version. Of
So
Fortnite.
many people.
So this, I don't know if you guys spent any time reading this story, but this was dark. I can't remember if this happened before or after our last episode. Did we cover that the Homeland Security lost a bunch of data? I know we talked about it on my podcast, and we were having a discussion about this. So Homeland Security, not directly, this was not an attack against Homeland Security, but one of the contractors they have, which has a lot of data.
Oh yeah, we did
Yeah.
talk about it.
So one of the contractors was compromised, and now they've been compromised, and now the data is out on the internet. And what this really shows is a really interesting thing, and I understand now why they got hacked. So we still know the why, but we know what they hacked them for. The documents offer an unusually intimate glimpse of the machinery that U.S. officials depend on for the constant monitoring of legal immigration through the border. And please quote, this is legal immigration. It outlines all the equipment used, software used, gear used, agreements signed, what levels of access. So this company is like a software vendor, hence contractor for Homeland Security. And there's some little company no one's ever heard of. They have a government contract that gives you that idea because we see the contract. We now know what they do. And that's when everyone goes, wow, there's been more. 10 years of constant surveillance of every car coming to and going in and out, and how there was no oversight for any of this. They could just kind of do what they want. And that's probably why they got hacked, was to expose all this information out of there and kind of bring it to public light and say, this is what these companies are doing. These are the agreements. They're being paid a lot for this. And my problem isn't with keeping our borders secure. I'm not someone who would disagree with you that we need to have a rational and secure border policy. I think a rational and secure border policy requires oversight. These committees can't just do things completely blind and devoid of it. If you're going to monitor borders, that's fine. You want to have a rational policy. You want to do it with proper oversight like we do other things. The police have oversight. The FBI has oversight. Things that are done in a public interest should have oversight. Oversight will lead to better governance. Bunch of people doing things in secret, well, power runs amok, and especially when it goes completely unchecked.
Definitely.
So that's where the problem I always have is. So some people, I've been accused before of being, oh, you're just some crazy left wing, let them in, whatever. I'm like, no. Before you start calling politics, let's say I'm for a rational border policy. I'm also for oversight that these companies shouldn't operate under some type of secrecy or darkness. They should have processes and procedures. You know, we've even seen a change, I feel, in the culture of the NSA because of Snowden. It's unfortunate it took Snowden not going through proper channels because that failed, but by releasing what they were doing, I think it made them take a step back going, wow, especially when he exposed some of the, what was it, they had those NSA people trading the nudes of the wives of people in the military overseas. Really? That's oversight run amok. There's nobody on either side of the argument that thinks those people should have been doing it, and that showed clear lack of oversight. These are the things that happen when there's no oversight. When people are basically given omnipotent power to control things, they're going to make decisions that maybe are in their self-interest because there's no one to put them in check. So that's a lot of what this highlights. It's kind of an interesting read, though. But yeah, they and all this is on dark web. They can't link directly to any of it because all this is floating around on the dark web. There's not any actual documents for me to share with you. We'll just say they're findable if you know where to look. But it's still an interesting concept. It's still it's a scary thing out there that this was going on. So there may be some good of this. Maybe we know that we're doing it. Maybe there's going to be some oversight inside of it. So this is kind of a follow-up on, I know I tweeted about Homeland Security losing stuff. Now we know more about what they lost. It's not losing the people's information. That was not what they were worried about. They were panicking over this going, crap, there's contracts in there.
Right.
Those contracts outline what we do.
Yeah, they didn't care about your license plate number.
No, the license plate number stuff is no big deal at all. What a mess. What
else in the world of hacking is going on?
I'm gonna go with this. Tell me you don't like the branding on this, guys.
Ooh,
Lucifer. This is a new ransomware. I don't even care what it does. They got branding. They got logos, man. They got this figured out. I like this. I like the play on words. I like calling it Lucifer. It just
Lucifer.
It's a new. It's distributed through malicious documents. It's a new hacking campaign. A new ransomware called Lucifer has been discovered that is actively being used in the wild to infect users. While it's not known exactly how this ransomware is being distributed, based on some of the files we found, we believe it's all through a spam campaign.
Stop clicking email. My God. Ask Siri to read. Get a fucking assistant to read it for you. Get an email reader. An out loud reader. Something. Tom, make us a thing. How about you use Mimecast, use safe links. There's some free consulting for you. There's ways to not get pwned when doing phishing engagements.
I just like the name. It's really everything they do is a standard ransomware stuff. There's nothing interesting, unfortunately.
Email and VMs only. Period. Done.
I want to see
emails and VMs only.
Yeah. Well, there's a good argument to be made, and if you the banking industry protects themselves a lot through this because we work with some of the banks doing IT. There's just no attachments allowed. It's not an option. They just don't allow attachments. You don't send them that way. That's how they avoid it. There's a zero attachment policy in a lot of the banks. My wife works for a bank. You can't get attachments. They have different methodologies by which they handle things, and it's very inconvenient at times. But it's also you're dealing with banking information, so they do it. I just like the logo, Lucifer, and the cool. I mean, I want to see ransomware with branding.
Man, I'm saying.
Yeah, because it's always in broken English, no logo. It just says ransomware with a skull and crossbones. That's no fun.
I've noticed a lot of new 0 days have,
Well, see, the 0 day market's got to figure it out. You got to have a fancy name. You got to have a lot of that. So what was this other article I have here? Oh, this actually was real breaking news. This is really all I have on it. I haven't even done a debrief on this, but this is the Apache Tomcat mess.
Oh my God.
It's just a mess in general. So if there's another Apache Tomcat problem, that means there's another Confluence problem, right?
Right.
Okay. So this is the cascade effect of things. This is one of the bases by which this is based on for things like Confluence, which was hacked, and it's going to be a mess.
God. I got a team at work that's probably so tired of Java. When I first came to the team, I said, listen, I don't like Java. It's a security risk. And people are like, no way, Java's awesome, blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
And now I got one team that literally just does nothing but Java security fixes. And I should just ask them blatantly, do you still like Java? Does it still feel good to you? There's non-stop issues with Tomcat and Confluence and Jira and WebLogic. And oh my God, why? Why is it so bad? Is it hard? Is it hard to make good Java-based anything? I don't understand. Like, why is this so bad?
Yeah.
It's Apache.
Yeah.
Should be good. It's Apache.
You know, I got to pull up our. I didn't put this in the show notes. Where did I put this? The
Who doesn't hate Java, Madison?
There's actually we didn't bring up the Linux flaw. Not
Oh,
that
boy.
anyone's getting hacked by it. It's just a denial of service. But there was a flaw. If anyone's wondering about it,
a few Linux
was it called?
exploits
SAC?
out.
SAC. That's
TCP?
it. TCP SAC. If you don't know about it, you've lived under a rock. Update your kernel.
Update your kernel.
That's all you got to do.
That
Well,
is
there's a
update.
mitigation. If you don't want to update and you're busy like Xavier is, and you're like, I ain't got time for this reboot and stuff. I'm in the middle of a lot of things. It is a by default on feature that there is a system control that you can issue to turn it off. So
There you
it can be turned off without rebooting. So if you have that production server and you don't got time to reboot it till Sunday morning, no problem. It is ability turned off. And for those of you that know, like I'm a big pfSense fan, I'm a big BSD fan for my firewalls. We're good. We're good on BSD. Doesn't
There you
exist
go.
in BSD.
Dude, BSDs are so awesome.
Yeah,
But they're just a pain to get any for day-to-day stuff.
oh yeah, day-to-day stuff. No, I like it at my firewall, but I don't know how to use it on my desktop. It's complicated and good enough there. Now, there is a condition in the beta, the 2.5 series of pfSense, because they're based on the latest BSD. It's kind of in there, but it's not implemented by default. So that newer way, the different way to handle, but it's going to be patched by the time it comes out. So if you're running a beta or an edge and you were doing a certain circumstance, yes, there's some edge case, but hopefully you're not running a beta firewall and not patching it. That would be just a recipe for disaster. I guess we could talk briefly about RAM bleed that came out. A lot of people seem to be really worried about it. You're over worrying about it. One of the challenges, and this is the same thing I brought up with the CPU problem with all the Heartbleed and all the different ones and the Ghost and the, what was the other one? Spectre Meltdown. All these require a program running with high levels of privileges on your computer to begin with, for the most part. I didn't go through every piece of the proof of concept, but basically, if you're a desktop user, you're not as worried about this. If you have a data center, yeah, there's some concern, provided you had servers on DDR3, because DDR4 mitigates this better. But yeah, that is not what you should be panicking about. We rarely, matter of fact, Spectre is almost 2 years old now. We have, how many times has any of the hacks we've talked about in 15 episodes because they use the Spectre flaw and an unpatched CPU? It's slow. If I have access to your computer, I'm not going to try to slowly attack and try to leak a key out. I'm going to load a key logger on it, and I'm going to have everything I need in a few minutes. As soon as you log in, I got it. I don't got to play with your CPU. The level of privilege a lot of these programs need is very in-depth. So they're really great scientific studies. It was also brought to us by our friends at University of Michigan. They are the ones put together the research. They did a lot of the debrief on it. It's a fascinating read because what it did do was set the stage for building memory without these flaws in it. So it is a good academic study. It is good because as memory gets faster, this problem would have been amplified if it wasn't fixed. Therefore, this research being put out there does help a lot. So these researchers, because they look at it, the people who design the standards for memory in DDR4, there is a mitigation built into DDR4 to help avoid this. But hardware attacks are amazing. These are some real. Hackers aren't usually the ones finding hardware attacks.
Yeah.
It's these brainiacs that have academic funding. Like, all right, for the next 4 months, here's some untold amount of money that you're going to focus on a piece of hardware. Yeah. And some of these even took like 6 months to a year to write these and test this. So it takes a highly focused person to do it, but it's still fascinating to do.
Love a good kernel exploit.
Yeah, because it's not, you're exploiting things at the hardware level,
Yeah,
which
you
is...
can't stop that. You get there, it's...
Yeah.
Ring zero.
Yeah, basically. Ring zero.
Ring zero.
How do you guys feel about Samsung asking you to manually scan your TV for malware? Their smart
That's a
TVs.
step in the right direction.
You know, it's hard not to get a smart TV. I didn't want one at my house.
What?
Yeah.
They're awesome.
No. Matter of fact, do you remember when Vizio got busted? They actually said part of the problem because they were sending all the data back for what people were watching, and they said that was part of the problem. They said, "Well, then why do you think our TVs are so cheap?" They were at least honest about it. They came clean real quick.
That was the reason they found out they were so priced reasonably.
Yeah,
They
they're
were
like
using
selling
some of your
you
data.
Think about it. At some point, this is where the TV industry really missed the boat here. So Facebook's free because they monetize my existence. How soon before TV's free so they can monetize my existence? I just got to tell them everything I do on it. It's just got to spy on me 24/7.
Porn's free because they monetize my existence. They might as well just bring it into the TV industry.
Yeah.
You know, I would actually watch Game of Thrones if it was free, but I ain't paying no $18 a month.
But would you sell your soul to watch it?
I've already sold my soul to be on Earth. Here you go.
Have you guys ever filled out the Nielsen's rating thing?
No.
And got the money in the mail?
No.
Yeah, you could just they said what do you watch? How many hours? You just fill out some lies, send it back to them. They send you
money.
like $40.
40.
Yeah.
But 40 more.
Good 40
That'll
more.
put you on your feet in the right neighborhood. That'll put you on your feet. That 40 turned to 250 in one day. I promise you. Before 7 o'clock in the morning.
I swear.
Yeah, it's I actually was able to find a not so smart TV. It doesn't have too many smart features, but I never connected it online. I have I connected the devices I want. I have a Plex server connected to it and stuff like that. So I found what I wanted. I do have a Roku connected to it. I know the Roku probably has some data it's sending back, but whatever.
That's one thing I
did watch Game of Thrones. I wouldn't pay for it either, and I didn't pirate it. My wife paid for it.
There you go.
I knew about Plex since they came out, but I just never hooked it up.
Plex is pretty cool.
Resource heavy.
It is a little bit. I have a server at my house, so.
Oh yeah.
Because why not? And there are a bunch of shows that I wanted to watch. They're all on my server. So.
Oh, he said it's 100 in Chicago.
And that'll really put you on feet in
addresses.
Chicago. Yeah, listen.
Oh, you know what $100 can do for you in Chicago?
Ooh. Not too much.
He said, Rampage said he got $2 from Nielsen's.
$2.
Apparently he lives in a rural area.
He lives in a very rural area.
I think I reached the end of my story list. You guys got anything else?
Just want to talk randomly at this point, I guess. Let's just
Yeah.
blabble.
I just want to,
Let's talk to the people. What do you guys got? Chatters? Plex is awesome. Yeah, I use Plex when I used to work on this super secret group over at a major car company, and I had to stand up what looked like internet radio. So I had a Plex server on the internet that I would do RSTP from the stream.
Nice.
What looked to be internet radio for debugging, testing, and potentially exploiting purposes. So that was very fun. And then, Jesse helped me out with that. Jesse's like a Plex guru if you ever need help. I'm just saying.
I don't use Plex. I have a PlayStation, and I use...
You got a PlayStation 3, to be precise.
No, I have a PlayStation.
No, the PlayStation 3 is the best media server you can put in your house.
No, it is.
That's the best media.
I still have that, too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's my DVD player.
It's the best
It's
media.
the best media server. It's basically XBMC.
Yeah, it decodes everything.
It worked good.
Everything.
That's why they fixed it in S4. It ain't there.
And so if you have a PlayStation, I use Universal Media Server, and that's what I use to stream instead of Plex.
On S4?
Yeah, on both, on PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 3 has PlayStation 3 Media Server, and then for 4 they just changed it to Universal Media Server because now it picks up your PlayStation and all your smart TVs.
I gotta go play with that.
Yeah, and it's not resource heavy.
That's cool.
PS3 YOLO RIP. Right?
Yeah,
It was
Exactly. I know Plex is collecting hella data.
It's open source.
I don't know. Is it open source?
You have
not
to
open
to configure too much for me.
binary?
Universal Media
it's all
Server.
binary. I didn't think it
you
was
just
open source.
download it
I don't know.
and click open and connect your network. That's it.
Open source. This must have a generous license.
They have a really generous license. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're open source. He's Googling it right now.
No, so if I didn't hear about Facebook offering
I'm
money
duck,
to
duck,
use
going
people's
it.
data.
I'm definitely not Googling it. Duck, going it.
He's duck going it.
Duck, go.
DuckDuckGo isn't the best for answers, so I have to do more research.
Yes, Joshua. There will be hacktorials coming up for you guys. We have been working on them diligently.
Hacktorials?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still producing a lot of content for my channel. I do some. I probably will do a honeypot on my channel, but we want to do some more on this side too. It's been a to list. It's just a matter of figuring things out, finding the time to produce a lot of content, because we both do have some jobs that we do. So is this...
Plex Media Player is at least open source, but it looks like that's just a client. It's not the server.
Right.
So the server's probably...
It's just a binary I
closed source.
download.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's a .deb. It updates. It works. It's because it all runs in my Linux box fine.
There you go.
And one of our other good friends is actually building. Well, he built it. Teppy built a CTF for how they got hacked.
Oh,
we
very
just need
cool.
to stand it up, but it's completely done. We
Oh,
just need to
awesome.
stand it up.
That is
So,
awesome.
Yeah, we will have a custom CTF for you guys.
Ooh, that would be fun because then we could do videos on how you do some of the hacking in it, or how to get started on
Yep.
it, and no, that'd be.
Yeah.
I like that idea. So we've been talking about it. I didn't know how far he was with it though.
Yep.
It's been on a to-do list.
And we still, I know, I keep saying it, but yes, we still have the cartoon coming. We still have more content coming.
Yeah.
Also,
So-
Red Team Clothing now takes crypto.
Yes.
So
Yes.
like,
Throw a
if you
link in
can't
there.
figure out a way to like get rid of your cryptocurrency, just like come spend it at Red Team Clothing. And we also just this past week, not only did I get crypto going and working, because I've tried to get it going before. Now that it works, I also did a design your own T-shirt. So if you have a design that you want to put on a T-shirt and you want to use crypto because you're crypto rich because you're making money out of thin air, come spend some of that thin air money with me. The thin air money taker.
Is you?
Yeah, that's me.
We gotta make sure we drop a link in there.
Bling. Here, I'll get a link to the design your own too.
Yep, we got new features. Design your own. Support Xavier here. Red Team Clothing. I'll pull it up on the screen. Whoop.
Nice.
I don't even know what I was pulling up there.
I have spent some time on this site here. Mo actually has a collab with me, Lil Hacker Man. So if you see that pop up, you know what I'm saying?
DC313 stuff.
That's my DC313 X Red Team Clothing DEFCON 27 burner phone case. This is a burner phone case, so for your burner phone. That's why it's red, so you don't lose it. Because Vegas can be hard.
He's got all kinds of fun stuff on here.
Yeah, we're working through. We got phone cases, coffee mugs, T-shirts, stuff for kids, wall art, book bags, zip-up hoodies, long sleeves. Just, we're trying to...
Oh, okay.
I got so much more stuff to put up there, too, you know?
Yep.
You know, I got to get that for Phil, the Echo one.
Oh, Echo Fucked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom,
Echo
didn't you
Fucked.
recommend the Boondock Saints movie?
Oh, yes, movie of the week.
Movie of the week.
It is movie of the week.
I think I recommended Boudin Sinks before.
I think a couple, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. I'm going to recommend that Chernobyl documentary, though. I don't think I brought that up. That was good. I watched all of it.
I've heard good stuff about it.
So good. So good. Very, they actually got into the science. They made it accurate based on what we know now. And dude, these were some real Russian heroes in there, man. These people, they were good. They did things knowing that they were risking and shortening their lives because it had to be done. Because the greater risk of destroying a massive amount of Europe was at stake. So one of the problems with the Chernobyl was the meltdown is when they build these reactors, the steel plate that it sits on, if the meltdown would have went through the steel plate, it would have contaminated the water supply that fed a big portion of that area of Europe. So you're talking about going from what was a absolute massive tragedy to a expanded massive down the river tragedy of epic proportion. So these people dug and trenched nonstop under this reactor while it's melting down to build the heat exchange system to keep it at bay. Like there were so many, and they know they were facing, like, your life is going to be a lot shorter, dude. Like, you may not even live. We're not even sure. There's a lot of radiation here. And these guys just went and did it. And
Yeet!
they were
just
like,
fuck it. Ship it.
Yeah.
So,
So,
they called the insurance company like, listen, can I get my shit bumped up to $100 million?
yep.
And be like, all right, we're digging. We're digging tonight. We're going tonight.
The
I'm leaving my wife
acting,
$100 mil.
right? The acting, the storytelling, the whole thing was top notch. It was a
HBO, huh?
Yeah, really, really well put together.
damn it,
Excellent
HBO.
actors. Excellent actors.
I gotta figure out a place to watch it. I gotta come to your house and watch it.
Come to my house, watch stuff.
Your house and watch it.
My wife pays for subscription
There you go.
because I won't.
So I won't either. I'm right there with you. I'm already paying for Showtime. I only one at a time, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, only one at
We just discussing all the services that come out your check.
Ooh, I don't wanna
Yeah,
talk
so that's gonna
about it.
be my movie. Is watch it. definitely good. If you see my Twitter picture today, because it's National Selfie Day, if you didn't know.
National Selfie.
My movie pick of the week is, I'm big on like horror films, creepy films, and I like foreign films. So my movie pick of the week is Hot Tension. So I'll put it in there.
Ooh, that sound like a do. That
also
sound like one of them ones.
It's also a French movie, so get ready to read some
Tension.
subtitles. Those are the best. America has completely run out of ideas for movies, so I watch foreign films.
You got to sometimes. You have to. This is me for National Selfie Day. I got my lead apron on.
Oh boy!
After watching, Chernobyl.
Oh man, you just got one of those laying around?
No.
All right, cool.
You
Making sure.
Maybe.
Making sure you don't just like have lead shit laying around.
There could be some radiation happening. You got to be prepared.
Man, those radio tower gigs are getting out of control.
Dude, you gotta, unifies right. You were like basking in radiation. You just have to wear the lead apron.
My favorite thing that Paul has ever told me was that my nuts had reception. I was like, you know what? My nuts do have reception. Jeez, that's totally a thing. Radio bouncing all off my nuts. Jeez. Command and Control on Netflix, says Mr. Buchanan. Jim Cola 99. That's a pretty cool name. Jim Cola 99.
I'll look that up. Command and Control.
Yeah.
That's look good. Yeah.
I think my movie for the week will be Shaft.
Ooh,
the new one.
The new one.
They got a new one coming out with my man motherfucking Samuel motherfucking Jackson.
Oh God, I love supercuts of him saying motherfucker. Like I could watch that YouTube video. They got like 20 minutes of him saying it.
Dude, and he's like 70 something.
He's been saying it a long
He's
time.
been saying that shit for a while.
Oh, that's great.
Fun fact about Samuel L. Jackson. He has been in more. He as an actor, he's like the highest. He's not the highest paid, but the highest grossing actor. All the movies he has been in have grossed more money than all the other actors.
Sheesh. Yeah. I mean, Snakes on the Plane, bro.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, you can't beat Snakes on the Plane, bro. That's like the best movie ever. And then you got also Pulp Fiction.
Oh.
Right? Like, come on. He's got some Coach Carter, bro. Come on, dog. Like, he got some of the best movies ever. Ever.
Good actor.
I remember I used to get him and Keenan Ivory Wayans confused. Just two bald-head black dudes. I know it sounds racist, but
not coming from you.
I mean, I was like 6, right? And then like I soon learned. I think there was what movie was that Keenan Ivory Wayans was in? You know what movie I'm talking about when he was a superhero?
What?
Shane. You don't remember Shane? With Wayman? You don't remember Shane? Man, see, movie for Mo. Go check out Shane.
Oh, that's why I'm like, man.
We can just mix up all the Lawrence Fishburne and Samuel L. Jackson movies. We'll just blend them all together.
Oh yeah,
there's no way you can. There's no way you can mix up Jules and Morpheus.
Good Morpheus.
There's no way.
Morpheus was the best.
I like that he got his start on Pee Wee Herman.
Morpheus, yeah, he did. Lawrence Fishburne did get his start on Pee Wee Herman.
Let me see.
Blank Man.
Anymore? It's more interesting stuff going on. I had so many just blurbs. I just jotted
there
down
we go.
Quickly.
Lawrence Fishburne and Pee Wee Herman, man.
Sharing a seat.
Oh yeah, that's. And then he went from this to Morpheus. I mean,
there you go. Morpheus. Now he's Pops on Blackish.
I saw a quick blurb that said security researchers discover 2 malicious Android apps that leverage a clever 2-factor authentication bypass to steal Turkish users' cryptocurrency credentials. So yeah,
Crypto. Schmipto.
Oh, then also what we talked about earlier,
Dirty Shane.
The company that got taken down for selling cryptocurrency insurance.
Oh.
If you were fooled enough to buy cryptocurrency insurance.
Shh.
Oh, okay.
Don't put them hip to the game now. Yeah, we got cryptocurrency insurance. Get your policy on Red Team, cryptocurrencyinsurance.com. You know what I'm saying? don't be giving the sauce out.
Oh, okay. My bad.
You know what I'm saying?
So much mess.
It's too much.
There's too much on there. We'll get exhausted talking about all this.
Sheesh, how many people are going to DEF CON this year? Anybody going to DEF CON? I'm trying to get Tom to come, but and I want to try and do like a live show.
I don't know if we'll
from
do a live
DEF
show.
CON.
We can try.
We can try. I'm just going to show up here, take all the equipment a week before. Tom's going to be like, where the fuck is all my equipment? I'm like, it's in Vegas. If you want to ever see your equipment, let's play a game, Tom. If you ever want to see your equipment again, come get it from Vegas.
I am officially poor right now, so I will be selling nudes to get to DEF CON.
Please.
I'll have people paying me not to send them my nudes.
Please send money. Please send money.
If for all the InfoSec shit posters out there like me and Mo, you know why this is so sensitive right now in the community of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That person sending us stuff. I'm not even getting on it.
Don't even do it.
You know,
it's a quick way to go viral though. We'll get our 1,000 subscribers.
Send all comments my way. I would be happy to discuss them with you.
Oh boy. 3-alarm scooter did get sentenced for 9 years. That shit was nuts.
Yeah. 3-alarm scooter. The guy who dug all the tunnels.
Wow.
No,
So-
Mo ain't going. I want Mo to go, but Mo ain't going. Mo ain't going to the DEF CON.
I told you.
Unless somebody send them.
I'm selling nudes. That's the only way I'm gonna make it.
Somebody send them, man. Let's get a fun together. Let's get Mo out there.
You
Shit,
know,
I need a fun.
Maybe we'll do that next time. We'll
He
start.
said he'll send the crypto to keep my clothes on.
There you go.
Maybe what we'll do is we'll start a GoFundMe for us in the Senmo.
There
There.
you go. Send fucking Mo to the con.
People can donate a couple dollars because they want to see him.
Before
there.
he's socially engineering your grandma out of her pension. Don't
Yeah,
that.
don't make them do that.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm here from the collection agency. You look like you owe us your whole pension. Whoops.
I'll go if someone sponsors me. Yeah, there are people asking too. Yeah.
That's a good reason not to go. No Self said he bought a house instead.
Someone say stay at Las Vegas Locals place. Because that guy in Vegas is always saying
There you
that.
go.
Oh yeah.
That'll save us a couple dollars. Hey, we're coming to your
Hey,
place.
we're coming to your place, bro.
We just got a dock share. We'll find out where you live.
We'll find out where you live, Las Vegas vocalist.
I'll donate a webcam to cover Mo. All right. Fun times.
Let me see what else we have here. Is that it? That can't be it.
I think we're just reaching the end. It's close enough to 2 hours, so
Yeah.
we gave you guys a lot more time. Don't worry, we'll be back next week with plenty more because
We promise.
there's all kinds of stupid happening every day. So we ain't worried, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, there will be breaches in between now and next Friday. Don't worry.
Oh, I'm positive. We'll dig deeper because there's a couple other topics I'm gonna dive into. Maybe that'll bring up. I mean, I could bring up the XM. Someone's really exploiting that hardcore. There's a flaw in the XM server.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we covered that on my Sunday Morning Linux Review podcast. It's a really interesting flaw that requires... It took a lot of thinking to put this together. The way it works is there's a series of events and lies you have to send about the email. If I understood correctly, it takes 7 days before it starts executing root commands because you have to put something in that expires 7 days later. I'm trying to remember the details. It's kind of weird. Like you have to mail form the mail on there, and it gets stuck in the queue for a while, and instead of leaving the queue and get deleted, it executes the commands. And it's a weird set of conditions. It's not common. It's a very specific attack that's very interesting, and because there's so many XM servers out there, it's being exploited kind of actively right now, so very actively.
Then you got Dell still pumping out pre-installed software that gets pwned, that's vulnerable.
Yeah, Dell, I seen that on the list too.
Support Center or something like
Yeah,
that.
the Dell Support
What have
Center.
I said since episode 1?
Don't use Dell.
Don't use Dell.
Dell makes the best damn computers outside
Don't
of
use the
Apple's.
Dell support software.
Well, outside of Apple and Lenovo. Apple, Lenovo, and please don't use the pre-installed software.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez, the pre-installed software is so bad. And
Well,
yes, connection is lost. My computer died officially. It happened.
Well, Lenovo had that problem as well. It wasn't directly Lenovo, but Lenovo had partnered with all those crapware companies that that pre-installs like, hey, we'll give you a kickback if you throw our crapware on there, and they did, and it through there was a security flaw, but it wasn't because of the crapware company. It wasn't like that they were the security flaw.
Right.
They just implemented things wrong. They turned out they used the same certificate everywhere. So people, once they understood and compromised that certificate, which by the way was stored in there, they found ways to get into the system. So it was causing a problem. It wasn't like they were acting in a malicious way. They were just acting in ineptitude, and someone exploited that ineptitude.
Unresponsible.
Yeah, so it's always scary. It's one of the first things I do. As a matter of fact, that's why this may be the last Lenovo I buy. I reviewed some System 76 laptop. I have it on my channel. I really like it. System 76.
System 76, send me a computer, please. Oryx Pro.
Yeah.
I need the one with like 4 drives in it.
Please.
I've been shopping. You can check my IP address. I got like 1,000 carts. I just can't buy another computer right now. It's like I got computers coming out of my ears. I can't even find the reason. My lady won't even let me buy another computer. I got 2 computers next to the front door, a computer from my bro Justin on the way, a computer from North Carolina on the way from my uncle. I got 2 servers. I'm trying to build. What did we talk about building? The RAID?
Yeah, we got to build that still. Oh, fun stuff.
Yeah, so much.
That reminds me of
my light bill is like horrendous. It's almost $200 a month now.
That reminds me of a picture I just saw. It had like a wife had a picture like she was about to hit the husband.
I'm telling you.
And she's like, "Why do you keep buying old computers? You have like 80. Why don't you just buy porn like a normal man?"
Just buy porn like normal guys.
I know. My wife's like, she knows I'm late here. She's like, you don't go to the bar or anything. I can like just find you behind the keyboard till 2 a.m. or something. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, System 76, and I did a review of Verizon. I want to actually reach out and connect with them. They're a local company. Verizon moved to Lapeer. They're in Lapeer, Michigan now. They're another integrator like System 76 who directly sells Linux-based laptops and desktops. So you can order custom from them. There's no Windows license. There's no software. Matter of fact, they'll just send it to you blank if you want. So you can just load your own OS. But they'll load an OS distro of your choice. And one of the things they do, just like System 26, they take the time to make sure that all the hardware in there, so you're not fucking around with it, just works with Linux. That is a huge thing. I know, and actually, if you didn't see the announcement, Lenovo is shipping Linux on their laptops new.
Oh, smart.
So, and for the same reason, they know.
Smart.
A lot of people recommended Lenovo because out of the box you can run Ubuntu on this, and I've had this laptop for 3 years. Out of the box, I ran Ubuntu. I did nothing. I didn't load anything. Matter of fact, ooh, look, my keyboard backlight. Where everything about this works perfectly fine with no problems. Out of the box, running Linux. That's one of the reasons I bought this model. I looked at a couple other models, and I looked at the problems and go, nope. There's like, oh, someone wrote this kind of script. You got to patch it. So every time there's a kernel update, you got to repo the script and redo this driver. And I'm like, no. I want something that works out of the box. System 76, Verizon both got it. Lenovo's getting there, though, because they're offering some Linux ones. So,
please send a desktop
yeah,
PC
I think I'm still going to go the System
stress
76
test.
route. I like everything else. System 76 is working hard on Libre Boot, and that is not something Dell, who does ship Linux laptops, and Lenovo, that's not something they're just doing it because they know the market's going that way. But they're actively contributing to some of the free unlocked bootloaders.
I'm surprised you got off of Pop OS in exchange for Parrot OS.
I did only on my laptop because all the hacking utilities are so convenient right here.
Like it, yeah.
I'm liking it a lot.
Yeah, I wonder if I could do this thing. ArtWatch. Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
They have a nice tool set.
Oh god,
dude,
it's Kali and then more. It's everything that Kali has,
except for it's a daily driver.
Yep.
And it's
no, you know what? I was over Tep House and he stood up Parrot.
I got Parrot running at my house.
It was cool.
Well, I mean, I got everything running at my house.
And then we also stood up Black Arc, which was cooler.
Now there is. Let me shut down this. It's got everyone's phone numbers on it. Just make sure I hide that. What else I got to hide?
Not the data breach.
Not the data breach.
How they got hacked.
This being Parrot, as someone noted, and things like that, though, but all the different... I can't turn on a non-surf right now, but I will tell you a non-surf on this is really slick. Right here. You just hit this, it shuts down everything that's open, switches it right back over to proxy. Oh, no, it just Tor.
Oh, uses
the
Tor.
Whole thing, every session, not just the browser, every session.
I thought it was proxy chains through Tor by default, though.
No.
Is it not using proxy chains?
It does use proxy chains, but it does it in a very clever way. It's a little bit more than proxy chains because it wraps your entire stack in it. So it works really well for things like that. The VPN works so smooth in this. So I have a couple places if I want to show up somewhere else. I got my VPN connections lined up if I want to show up in Sweden, South Africa, or my LTS office. They've just done a nice job of all the little security things on here and having just a crazy amount of tools. So I did a review of it, and I'm still happy. I mean, Airgiddon is on here, and that doesn't come by default on Kali, I don't think.
Yeah, no, it doesn't come with that one.
It comes default and configured. Loftcrack, just massive amount. All the analysis tools, all set.
Yeah, but does it run Doom, bro?
It runs Doom and Burp Suite.
I saw someone running Doom on a blender.
Oh, I'm
That
sick.
was like the most
Litness.
awesome thing I've seen in months.
Yeah. So I've been a big fan of it. It's been kind of fun to have some of these tools when I go places, right here at my fingertips.
Yeah.
Just it's just been kind of cool. It's open VAST too. I've been using that more for even some internal assessment tools and things like that. It's been kind of fun to play with. But I think that's all I got. We got our movie recommendations. We got a bunch of news to you.
Got everything?
We did our extended show,
Yes, we did.
and we all wake
that's
up
about
early, and now we're all tired.
Yes, we are.
And a
It's
battery's
Friday.
wrong.
It's time to have some real fun.
Time to go have some fun.
I'm
We
about
got
to go drink some beers.
No.
champagne.
Champagne only from
I will be stopping by the Green Cross.
You know what I'm saying? He's going over to the Green Cross place. You know what I'm saying? To get him some green crossery.
There you go.
You know?
What do we got that place called? What is that one? I won't say it later. Anyways, the grass station.
The grass station. That's hilarious.
Haven't you seen it? It's right there on
East Grand Boulevard.
East Grand Boulevard.
They
Just
took
cross-
a gas station and turned it into a weed store.
and they call it the grass
The grass
station.
station.
You can't beat branding
You
like
really
that.
can't beat it.
I was like, why not? It's a great idea. It's right across the street from one of my clients. So.
Dude, we had such a great DC 313 this week.
Yeah.
Oh my God, was it amazing?
I posted some pictures. I
yes,
think I had it on
yes.
Twitter too. There was a great turnout. It was part of the Detroit Meets thing I talked about. It was everything was good about that.
It was
so.
amazing. Shout out to Steve Marsh. He's
Yep.
an amazing dude. And it looks like we're going to be doing another one July 31st.
Yep. I'm going to tweet more about it. Anyone who's local, if you're watching this, you're local in the area. I had more people from me posting on there asking where it was, where you can learn more, and that's exactly what I wanted. Yep. I covered it on my Vlog Thursday live stream that we do for my Lawrence Systems. A few people asked about it, and I sent links out. Please show up at the next one, too. We love to have everyone here. If you happen to be local and in the area, hey, come on by. We had some fun talking security, and before they kicked us out at 9, because no one wanted to leave.
They literally kicked us out.
I mean, it went from 6 to 9. It's 3 hours, and we're like, we ain't done.
Right. We're just still talking.
They're
tech.
like, that's fine. Go be done out in the streets.
Right.
Yep.
So, press that magic button, man. I think it's the end of the show.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you
Later.
next time.
Thanks.
Later.
Later.
Peace.